Yeah, I'm really thankful for the work the staff and the players have put in. It's gratifying to have our 8th win in back-to-back seasons. A year ago, it took us through our bowl game to get the 8th win, and here we have it in the regular season with still one game to go. With one game remaining in the regular season, the Coastal Championship will be on the line, and I think that reflects just growth and progress within the program. And I think it reflects steady and unbroken growth within the progress in 4 years to this point. Our offense continues to grow, build, and expand and become what we need them to be and want them to be. Our offensive line is the catalyst of that. And their continued growth and development, which has been targeted from game one and has been trending upward the entire season. We ran the ball more effectively today than we have the entire year, and so we were able to add balance, which makes us more difficult to stop. The point yield is encouraging as that continues to climb and raise. Devontae Cross with 2 defensive turnovers was critical. And our team handled this game in this situation very maturely, very methodically, because the outside pressures were to look past it. And that's really all they heard. We know you're playing this opponent, and I think they played very well in relation to the context, and it reflects a maturing football program. So thankful and grateful for the efforts of our players. Certainly appreciate the fans that were there today, and look forward to preparing for our next opponent. So I'll take questions.
We saw a lot of guys today who, for various reasons, had not necessarily had big roles so far this season. Was that your hope going into the game, to be able to use some of them?
It was our hope, but not counted on, because you never know how the game is going to go. Wayne Talapapa had been beat up. He didn't practice the majority of the bye week or this week, and so PK and Mike, that was our plan, to play both of them in Lamont, just because Wayne just wasn't healthy all the way. Same with Joe Reed. He isn't 100% quite yet. And so we did our best to make sure all players were ready and then manage the game the best we could. From there, I know there are other examples, but those are just 2 that jump out to me.
Bronco, it seemed like you guys came out determined to show that you hadn't overlooked these guys, were dominant real early, and then maybe went into kind of a cruise control until the interception kind of brought everything back to where you needed it.
Yeah, it appeared like that, and I kind of sensed it emotionally. Really what led to that is we made a change in the secondary just yesterday, and so we had Devontae Cross playing safety again, and we had a few assignment mistakes that just led to 2 big plays, and so that then kind of snapped us back into it. But I think that could be accurate, but the missed assignments made it seem more like that than maybe what it was.
What did you see in the play, the first of the cross interceptions? It looked like there was nobody there, and just talk about just how that was a turning point early in the game.
I think that so their quarterback does a nice job not taking sacks and getting rid of the football, and they do a good job in what we call scramble drill. When the quarterback's under pressure, receivers convert the routes. And so I have 2 explanations. I don't know if either one's right. One, he could have just been trying to overthrow everyone and get rid of the football. The other was he was anticipating the receiver altering the route on scramble drill, and he might have broken back rather than downfield. And
it looked like a turning point.
It helped. It certainly helped.
I think Seneca Millage had a knee injury in training camp, which kind of slowed his development. Is it nice to know that you're going to get a full 4 years from him after this? And what about his performance today?
It is. We talked this week through this bye week and this week of practice. It's the first time this year that we've seen him at close to 100%. For those that don't know, he had the top 100-meter time in the country this year. He's fast, and he's very strong and very dynamic. And in practice, it just continues to show and show and show, which again, the injury at the beginning was significant, and it's taken a long time. And so that he's becoming available now gives us one more return option, which is great. And then with the ball in his hands, that'll help our offense as well over his career.
44 rushes, average 5.2 yards per carry. How encouraging is that going into next week?
Well, it's our ideal. If you look at the balance on the sheet today, and it's somewhere around 220 or 250 rushing, 220, 250 passing, and then when you have the running back run game in addition to the quarterback run game, in addition to the throw game, that then becomes more of the intent of what we would like to do on a consistent basis. So it's encouraging, it's needed, it's necessary, and it's coming at the right time. These last 3 or 4 weeks, the trending that's happening offensively.
Coach, you mentioned that you made a change in the secondary yesterday. Is that related to Chris Moore's absence, and what's his availability for the Tech game?
Yeah, both Chris Moore and Chuck Davis were withheld for violation of team rules. That happened yesterday. And so Devontae Cross, after not practicing at that position, we made that switch yesterday, and that led to a couple of the early assignment mistakes. So that was, just another hit to the secondary that kind of happened late. So in terms of availability, remains to be seen.
Bronco, you've made it very clear that since you got here that beating Tech is a top priority. You guys weathered that today. What do you do in the week, even less than a week, ahead to kind of manage the need to win that game and not overblow the need to win that game and to not make it too much and not freak the guys out?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance because the reality is the University of Virginia has not had much success in that game. And managing that could certainly be a contributing factor. However, we're talking now about an opponent that is qualified, I think, for 27 or 28 straight bowl games and has made a commitment to football that has lasted for a long time. And we are making that commitment and resurgent. And the reality is we have the Coastal Division Championship. We have basically the state championship and a lot to play for. Now that we've said all that, just like I mentioned to the players, it becomes interference. It's playing the game, preparing for the schemes, the strategies, the matchups, and anything that allows us to drift outside of that really works counter to our preparation. So it really is all about the game, meaning I'm talking the game within the lines, not anything else. And that's the external influence usually tries to pull that way. My message every single day is coming right back to the execution.
This was by far the most Heskin Smith has ever played in a college game. Looked like Liberty picked on him or tried to pick on him a little bit early, and he seemed to get better and more confident as the game went on. What did you think of his performance?
As you mentioned, we're the last 2 weeks, thank goodness we have him. He came back after 5 or 6 weeks of being hurt. He's now had about 2.5 weeks of practice, and he's playing well in relation to who we currently have and what we currently need. I thought in relation to Liberty's best receiver, top performing receiver, he had the same number of catches, which was 6, but not the yardage that he normally has. And then Heskin did get beat at the end of the game on by their jersey number 13 on a deep ball. But other than that, the number of tackles, the number of plays he made, there's a lot of encouraging things there. And with the amount of repetition and the amount of game experience to have him perform like that, it's a positive sign.
You think Snowden has a career wide receiver now?
That would be no. No matter how much lobbying he does, it was really a nice job by Brennan Armstrong, and it wasn't an easy catch. I think actually that was a critical point in the game, and really glad we executed it well.
What was how much of a bonus was it to get Armstrong in the game and to throw the touchdown late, and also the future of the Armstrong-Wicks combination?
I'm really excited, not only the future of the Armstrong-Wicks, but the Armstrong-Hollins, Wicks, Kyer. There's some Millage. It's fun to see players be able to be rewarded for all their hard work and work hard enough in the game to provide that opportunity. It's just good for everything. It's good for program development. It's good for morale, and it also gives us a better idea what the future looks like in terms of talent assessment and how we look.
Last question from Hank.
You've told us for weeks that you were trying to get Hollins in the game, had recommended strongly, and if you as the head coach can't recommend it strongly enough, what was it like to see him in the game today, and was he taking care of ball security things and all those kinds of things that I'm sure you guys were looking for?
Yeah, he's earned that chance, and that's the way I operate. I recommend based on what I see, and PK as well. And so they both did a nice job, and Lamont, they did a nice job with the chance they got today, which I'm proud of all of them for that they stepped up when they had their opportunity. And again, grateful for all the hard work for our team. And every goal that we had set at the beginning of the season is still available. There aren't many of the 130 Division I football programs that have every goal that they set still available going into the last week of regular season. And I'm going to acknowledge that the rest of the day while I'm working on our next opponent, because it's been a lot of hard work. And yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.